They say Levi Ackerman is the strongest. A blade in the dark, a blur of motion too fast to comprehend. But what happens when you take away the blades? What happens when his enemy isn't a lumbering monster, but the very air he breathes? Our story begins with Levi on the run. A deserter, a ghost slipping through the cracks of a society that betrayed him. No gear, no squad, just the ghost of a uniform on his back, and the iron discipline forged in a lifetime of struggle. Deep in a desolate forest, a sanctuary appears through the mist, an old, abandoned asylum. A place to lay low, to disappear for a few days. He pries open a rusted gate, the screech echoing in the oppressive silence. The moment he steps inside, something is wrong. It's clean. Impossibly, surgically clean. Dust motes refuse to dance in the shafts of moonlight. The air is still, heavy, sterile. For a man obsessed with cleanliness, this should be a relief. Instead, a cold dread coils in his gut. This isn't just clean. It's a sterile, unnatural void. The only sounds are the rhythmic drip of a leaky pipe and the groan of the ancient structure settling around him. It's a tomb, polished and waiting. Driven by a grim curiosity, he ventures deeper. The patient wards are a maze of identical, pristine rooms. In one, he finds a stack of patient records, the ink still sharp, the paper crisp. He reads of behavioral modifications, of experimental drugs designed to pacify and control. The notes are meticulous, chillingly detached. Again and again, a single phrase appears. Achieving the calming presence. What kind of madness unfolded here? That's when it starts. A flicker in his peripheral vision, a shadow darting down a hallway. He spins, finding nothing. A faint murmur, like a whisper carried on the wind, seems to emanate from an empty cell. He dismisses it. Exhaustion. The acoustics of a large, empty building. But the feeling of being watched intensifies. He can almost hear the ghost of restrained sobbing, a memory trapped in the walls. In a children's ward, a crude drawing is tacked to a bulletin board. It depicts small, terrified figures being tended to by grotesque, elongated shapes, all bowing before a single, giant, unblinking eye. He needs answers. In what must have been the head doctor's office, hidden behind a false panel, he finds a collection of leather-bound journals. The script inside is elegant, precise, and utterly insane. The doctor believed humanity's suffering stemmed from what he called noisy emotions, fear, anger, love, despair. His life's work was to create a utopia of pure tranquility by filtering consciousness itself. The journals describe his breakthrough. A unique fungal growth, a bioluminescent mold discovered in the catacombs deep beneath the asylum. From it, he distilled a gas. Not a poison, but something far more insidious. It didn't kill. It slowly, permanently, stripped away all higher cognitive function, all personality, all memory. It left its victims in a state of perfect, serene, mindless compliance. It became the calming presence. The missing patients weren't missing. They were. Purified. They were still here. A horrifying realization dawns on Levi. The asylum isn't just a building. It's a living organism. The spores from that subterranean fungus have permeated the entire structure. The profound, unnatural cleanliness? It's because the spores thrive in sterile environments, actively inhibiting decay and consuming dust. The gas, the calming presence, isn't just in the lower levels. It's in the air he's been breathing since he arrived. And the ghosts? The shadows and whispers? They're the lingering psychic echoes of the patient's last moments of conscious thought, their final sparks of identity, imprinted onto the very gas that consumed them. A subtle apathy begins to cloud his mind. His legendary focus wavers. His thoughts, usually sharp as a scalpel, start to blur at the edges. A part of him, a tired, weary part, wants to just sit down, to stop fighting, to rest. The gas is working. The clean, silent asylum is trying to make him one of its own. His strategic mind, the very core of who he is, begins to fray. Illusory figures start to form in the sterile air, the faces of fallen comrades, beckoning him to join them, to finally find peace. "It's over, Levi," they whisper. "You can rest now." His own worst fears materialize, telling him his struggle is pointless. The desire to simply stop, to let go, is overwhelming. This is a new kind of battle, not against flesh and bone, but against his own mind. He summons every ounce of his legendary discipline, the raw survival instinct honed in the underground. He has to think. He has to fight the fog. The journals mention the source, the main fungal growth in the catacombs. Fire. It's a risk, a massive one. Burning the core growth could bring the entire unstable structure down on top of him. But it's the only way to destroy the source of the gas. He moves with desperate purpose, his agility the only thing keeping him alive as he navigates crumbling stairwells and decaying passages. The phantoms are everywhere now, reaching for him, their silent screams echoing in his head. He finds the heart of the growth, a pulsating, glowing mass of fungus that covers an entire wall of the sub-basement. Using a discarded piece of furniture and the last of his flint and steel, he ignites it. A fire catches with an unholy roar, releasing a final potent wave of the gas. Levi's vision swims. The urge to lie down, to close his eyes in the cleansing fire, is almost irresistible. But he sees it a narrow ventilation shaft, high on the wall, leading up and out. With a final guttural roar of defiance, he scrambles, his fingers finding purchase on cracked brick, hauling himself into the narrow passage, just as the floor beneath him collapses into the inferno. He crawls through grime, through soot, through the filth he so despises. The tight space is suffocating, but the air is real. It's dirty, it's raw, it's life. He bursts out of a grate on the forest floor, gasping, covered in a thick layer of black soot and grime. His own personal hell. The asylum burns behind him, a funeral pyre for the souls it consumed. He carries no new physical scars, but the look in his eyes is different. He's alive, but forever haunted by the silent, sterile horror that almost erased him. He clutches a small, tattered piece of his old uniform, a simple scrap of fabric, a desperate anchor to the man he almost lost. He is Levi Ackerman, and he survived. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy deep dives into dark and twisted stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next descent into the shadows. Let me know in the comments what other characters you'd like to see face their worst fears. Until next time.